On this Monday night, we are in northern Mali as more Canadians arrive for the UN mission here. We'll explore the serious tests Canada's Chinook helicopters are about to be put to and meet some of the people counting on Canada to bring change. There's nothing easy about the Mali mandate.
Also tonight, a CBC News exclusive, a former Mountie speaking out about his time in the force and a $1 billion lawsuit claiming harassment, bullying, and intimidation. This is The National.
Mali feels like a place right on the edge of everything, crushing poverty that holds some people back and pushes a lot of trouble forward. What happens in Mali has ripple effects that reach to Europe and beyond. That's just part of the reason why Canada is sending 250 peacekeepers here. More from the early team arrived today. They're all coming here to the UN's Camp Castor in the northeastern city of Gao. This is far from the capital of Bamako. Gao is a gateway to vast tracts of ungoverned desert. And for Canada's helicopters, it is simply where they have to be to reach the trouble spots. At Camp Castor, we got a sense of what Canadian peacekeepers will face here and reminders about why this mission matters. And so to work, the Canadians arriving on a tarmac that's still really under construction. The learning comes with the very first step.
We could feel the heat. It's very, the temperature and the challenge will be very high here.
Excitement.
Really?
Not a lot of Canadians get to come to Africa.
Now that this advanced team contingent has arrived, one of the first things that will happen is a handover with the German crew who are taking their helicopters out on June 30th. There is a lot of information to pass on. There's a good chance one of the briefings will begin with this, the pictures of the sandstorm at the base the other day. However bad the Canadians think the sand will be here, the Germans who are currently doing the medical evacuations say, forget it, it's worse. But the sand gets into everything, including the ventilators?
Yes, I don't know how it comes in, but it comes in any single pore. So it's the sand is that fine if you compare it, for example, with the sand in Afghanistan, that just have a look. I cleaned it yesterday in the evening and it's, again, everything is sandy.
A thought about the incoming Canadian Chinooks. They can carry more people than the German helicopters, which is a good thing for a terrible reason. When attackers hit UN convoys, there are a lot of wounded. On his second tour of Mali, this German pilot is not exactly effusive about the mission's impact so far.
I personally can't determine any progress here, but I hope things are developing.
Have you had a chance to talk with many of them? What did they tell you?
No,
No?
no. I'm an aviator. Usually I'm at least 30 feet above the ground, and we did not have any personal encounters with the local population here.
That's a good point. Some things you can only assess at ground level. This isn't Gao, it's the capital of Mali, Bamako, further south. It's where people who've been able to flee go, and it shows. Those who know the place well say it's swelling. Already this is a country where 60% of the population is under 25, and that population is doubling roughly every 30 years. That means real economic pressure.
Et-tu peur des fois? Oui, j'ai peur des fois.
Scared is more than a reasonable answer for two teenage girls. They've joined others in a project sponsored by Canada aimed at teaching women marketable skills. They're learning to make soap to sell. There's a whole series of trades being taught here. Help women find work and you keep families fed is the reasoning. But it's still no guarantee, and war in the north is never far from their minds. Madine Traore is all of 19. People know there's no security in the north, she says, which means they have no choice but to stay here. That's a problem. It is, which is why stabilizing Mali will be about more than taking away fear. It will have to be about giving hope. The UN wants women to have an important role here. It's even spelled that out in the resolution authorizing this mission. And that's in keeping with the Trudeau government pledge to deploy more women as peacekeepers. But as Murray Brewster reports, this mission comes up short.
It all looked and sounded so good in Vancouver, last fall's peacekeeping conference.
Women bring a unique and valuable perspective to conflict resolution.
There was not only political clout, but star power.
Less than 4% of all peacekeepers are women.
And this is what it looks like on the ground now. Canada's new mission in Mali. The Liberal government and the military both eager to showcase the involvement of women. It begs the question of how many women are among the 250 aircrew and troops.
The Canadian Armed Forces have done their work of making sure that we have the right people. Our numbers is going to be approximately, it'll be a 14% of women.
That is just shy of the 15% target set by the Security Council. It is, however, better than the UN average for all of its missions. And Harjit Sajjan insists Canada's numbers will get better when other promised missions materialize. When that will happen is anybody's guess. Canada is committed to providing a 200-soldier rapid reaction force and military trainers to instruct other nations in UN peacekeeping. For some critics, the Liberal government is providing too few troops over too short a time.
If we want to have a real impact on the number of women peacekeepers, we have to lead by example. And that means we have to fully re-engage in peacekeeping. The Canadian military has struggled lately to attract and retain women. New figures show that when they do join, women prefer either the Air Force or the Navy, not the Army. And that is a problem, especially if Canada wants women to be seen as leading on the ground. Murray Brewster, CBC News, Ottawa.
There are good reasons for peacekeepers to be here, but they are also targets. From 2013, when this mission started, through to the end of last month, 170 UN personnel have been killed here. In terms of danger, no other mission comes close. Last year, Mali accounted for a third of all UN peacekeeping fatalities, and the threat shows no sign of letting up. Here, keeping the peace can look a lot like fighting a war. Over 2 months this spring alone, the UN says armed groups carried out 44 attacks, killing and maiming civilians, Malian soldiers, and UN personnel.
They will attack the UN maliciously. They will launch mortars and artillery and rockets into UN camps. They will send in suicide bombers. So that makes it extra dangerous.
Ironically, it was another international intervention that may have helped unleash this chaos.
Our Prime Minister has been clear, Gaddafi has to go.
Canadians joined the coalition that helped a 2011 rebellion overthrow Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi.
There were a number of Malians and other Africans from sub-Saharan Africa who were working for Muammar Gaddafi. And after the end of that civil war, with the death of Muammar Gaddafi, they returned home, taking their weapons with them and a lot of their techniques.
An ethnic separatist movement dominant in the north then joined forces with Islamists, some reputedly with links to al-Qaeda. And flush with Libyan weapons, they captured half the country. So France intervened in Mali, beating back the Islamists, and a UN mission began to help keeping armed factions from tearing the country apart. Clashes and terrorist attacks have been a constant feature ever since, though. Peace between the government and separatists is fragile. Mali's democracy is fragile, too. Long postponed elections are scheduled for the end of July, and opposition supporters have been injured in clashes. Protests are now banned. When we spoke with Canada's Chief of Defence Staff yesterday, General Jonathan Vance, he gave us a hard limit on Canada's commitment here, 1 year only. That for a UN mission whose needs only seem to grow with time. In 2013, the mission was authorized for up to 11,000 troops. By 2016, that had expanded, allowing a force strength of up to 13,000. Originally, the focus was on stabilizing population centers, protecting civilians, and supporting the peace process. Later, counterterrorism was added to the mandate. That's unusual and controversial. Critics say it makes UN peacekeepers a party to the conflict. Ian, this is a year-long mission that we will all be watching closely. For now, though, back to you in Vancouver.
All right, thank you, Adrian. Now from Canada's peacekeepers to its national police force, Canada's public safety minister says there is no place for harassment or bullying in the RCMP. That is the government's response to a story that CBC News first broke this morning. A new lawsuit has been filed against the force on behalf of past and present RCMP employees. The CBC's Dave Seglins has an exclusive interview with the Mountie leading the legal fight.
Yellowknife 2007. A commander here working on a complex drug investigation listened in on some troubling wiretap recordings.
I overheard conversations between two of our targets talking about possible corruption within the RCMP.
For Jeff Greenwood, now a 28-year veteran, that was the moment his troubles on the job began.
Several members in the division I was in was trading information for money. Information relating to undercover operators, information relating to ongoing criminal investigations, even to the point where one of them said that he was offering to destroy evidence in relation to his matter for a sum of money.
But when he reported it to senior managers, he says he was ordered to drop it, removed from his post, and ostracized.
So basically, everything I had ever believed in the RCMP was kind of destroyed, and I was made to be the problem. I was made to be the bad guy in this whole situation.
Greenwood is now the lead plaintiff in a massive new lawsuit claiming widespread harassment, a $1.1 billion class action on behalf of thousands of RCMP men and women, officers and civilians, dating back decades.
Realistically, we're looking at class members numbering in the tens of thousands. It's really a unique problem within the RCMP as compared to other police forces.
The allegations have yet to be tested in court, but this suit argues the RCMP has already admitted a problem.
I stand humbly before you today and solemnly offer our sincere apology.
2 years ago, the commissioner settled a sexual harassment case. He also acknowledged problems in the force extended far beyond.
It's the culture of bullying and intimidation and general harassment, which I think needs everybody's focus and attention.
The RCMP today said it's reviewing this latest lawsuit. This assistant commissioner says the force has hired new staff, is doing training on diversity and leadership, and is trying to fix the problems.
Anything that is systemic is a very challenging endeavor. One of the things that's important is that we aren't going to just treat this as a tick box exercise. This is something that we are going to remain committed to.
The Minister of Public Safety, Ralph Goodale, declined our request for an interview, but today issued a statement saying harassment has no place in a modern RCMP, that the new commissioner, Brenda Lucky, appointed this spring, has been tasked to fix whatever's wrong. Dave Seglin, CBC News, Toronto.
There has been a shocking wave of gun violence in Canada's biggest city. Just this weekend, 4 people were killed in 3 separate incidents.
I can't bring myself to think who would even make that decision to just end such a beautiful person's life.
To Toronto's Ghanaian community, Janice Nyarko was a beloved friend. She is also Toronto's 47th homicide victim of the year. Nyarko was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting early Sunday morning. The 31-year-old social worker was on her way home from a funeral. And as the list of victims grows, so do the questions about guns, gangs, and safety on the streets. Surveillance footage shows a silver SUV circling a building. Then it pulls up beside a car filled with people. A single shot is fired. Janice Nyarko, sitting in the back, is hit and later dies in hospital.
It does look like the characteristics of street gang subculture, where you do a couple of drive-bys and then you are usually in your rivalry neighborhood.
A brazen attack that seems no longer rare in Toronto. Shootings in the city are up about 20% from 2017, though police say there's no reason to be alarmed. Last week, they carried out a blitz on one street gang, resulting in 75 arrests and the seizure of 78 guns.
The guns were destined to become crime guns in Toronto and the GTA. This represents the largest single seizure of crime guns in the history of the Toronto Police Service.
In response to this weekend's violence, today the mayor made a vow.
We are going to root these people out, gang by gang, neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block, and that's exactly what the police service is doing. I think they proved that last week, and we're going to get these people off the streets.
Yeah, I'm ready. Some say the gun culture in parts of Toronto has become deeply ingrained, easy solutions elusive. The CBC's Salima Shivji now with a community activist's street-level view.
It's the only option for them because that's all they see, that's all they know.
Louis March has been walking these streets, talking to young people at risk for years. The community activist who works to get guns out of the hands of teenagers has heard countless stories about the draw of guns and gangs.
When they tell you that it's easier for them to get a gun than a job, that's an indictment against we as a society.
March says this gang violence is different than in 2005, during Toronto's so-called Summer of the Gun, when more than 50 people were gunned down. For starters, he says today there are more guns that are way more powerful.
There used to be 1 and 2 guns in a community. There used to be a gunman in the community, and he would take care of business. Now everybody has their own gun.
And he says the pull of the gang starts younger. Teenagers swayed by images of guns and glory on social media, leading to more brazen shootings in playgrounds and parking lots. It's a change from what he used to hear from gang members.
They had codes. They had rules in terms of firing a gun, where, who, and so on and so on. The young people today don't have those codes anymore.
There is no simple solution, but he says what the mayor is proposing won't work.
Adding 200 police officers is just an indication that the mayor doesn't really understand the complexity of this problem and what needs to be done.
He'd like to see a forum much bigger than this one this past weekend for city officials to listen to those working and living in communities at risk as they carve out a made-in-Toronto solution to a very complex problem. Salima Shivji, CBC News, Toronto.
We're watching several other developing stories tonight, starting with the latest impact of the Trump administration's trade action. Harley-Davidson says it's moving some production out of the U.S. to avoid tariffs imposed by the European Union. The EU slapped taxes on American-made Harleys and other products after the U.S. announced tariffs on European steel and aluminum. Europe is one of Harley-Davidson's most important markets. President Donald Trump reacted to the company's decision on Twitter, writing that he's surprised that Harley-Davidson, of all companies, would be the first to wave the white flag. I fought hard for them, and ultimately they will not pay tariffs selling into the EU, which has hurt us badly on trade, down $151 billion. Taxes, just a Harley excuse. Be patient. About 3,000 people in Northern California have been ordered to leave their homes as wind drives a wildfire closer to neighborhoods. Flames have already destroyed 22 buildings, prompting the governor to declare a state of emergency. More than 200 firefighters have been deployed. Prince William is making history this week, becoming the first British royal to make an official visit to Israel and the Palestinian territories. William arrived in Tel Aviv today. During his trip, he'll meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and the Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. We have a lot more ahead tonight on The National, including a decision in a highly watched trial in Ontario. 2 men have been found not guilty of sexually assaulting a woman during a university hockey trip. And with legal pot on the horizon and thousands of jobs up for grabs, we look at the challenges of a nationwide hiring spree. And later, the class of 2018. David Common introduces us to young Canadians ready to graduate who are already inspiring change in their communities.
Often in the world, Black people are labeled as being violent, being people who won't amount to things.
So you're pushing back against that?
Yeah, and trying to do that in the most positive way possible.
The allegations were so disturbing they put an entire university hockey team under a cloud of suspicion for 4 years. Today, the 2 players at the center of the case were acquitted in a Thunder Bay courtroom of sexual assault. As Catherine Cullen reports, the trial may be over, but questions remain about the continuing impact of this case.
David Fouché and his teammate certainly didn't act like gentlemen, said the judge, but she found them not guilty of sexual assault.
What Justice Brochu has specified is that obviously they might have not been on their best behavior that night, but there was certainly no criminal behavior.
It was 2014 and Ottawa U had just beat Lakehead University. One Ottawa player met a woman online and had consensual sex at the team's hotel. The woman alleged two other players, Guillaume Donovan and David Fouché, came into the room and forced themselves on her. During the trial, Donovan told the court he believed it was consensual and she didn't say no. Fouché said he never touched the woman. The woman said she vividly recalled turning to the man she met online and saying, "I don't want this to happen." But the judge said today there were inconsistencies in the woman's testimony.
There was kind of accusations, right? And just seeing you guys every day coming in and out of court, then you Google whoever client's name and it's going to pop out probably forever. So obviously it's difficult.
It's just gut-wrenching.
But this women's rights advocate says people often overlook that trauma impacts a victim's memory.
And so now, because this one woman did not get a conviction, we're now going to say all women are liars. That's the narrative that we see. And
still, she sees some room for optimism. Lalonde worked with the university after this incident to push for a better sexual violence policy and teach students about bystander intervention.
There are key, really important things that came through, legacy pieces that will outlive this trial, that to me are bigger than that trial.
The decision is one that I think underlines the unfairness.
This lawyer, though, represents other members of the team that year who launched a class action lawsuit after the university suspended the entire men's hockey program.
They paid for it in terms of their reputations, in terms of their hockey careers, in terms of their academic careers.
The University of Ottawa wouldn't comment on today's court ruling, but in a statement did say that an independent investigation into events in Thunder Bay showed, quote, widespread misconduct unbecoming of university representatives, and that today's court ruling doesn't change that. Catherine Cullen, CBC News, Ottawa.
Ahead tonight on The National, a diner in Collingwood, Ontario is taking heat from angry Trump supporters, but there's a problem. They have the wrong restaurant. First, though, we'll hear from 3 teenagers ready to graduate high school. All faced adversity, adapted, and now are inspiring others.
No one's saying you have to have an amazing day every single day, but when you have those bad days, you can't let them define your life.
How do you not dwell on it?
Hope, really. It's hope and a choice.
School is winding down across Canada after a year in which students proved to be big drivers of change. Teenagers from Florida pushing their message of gun reform all the way to Washington. But they are not the only ones building the future they want to see. David Common tracked down some determined grade 12 students on this side of the border.
It doesn't take an extraordinary person to overcome amazing odds. It's your choice whether or not you get up and fight and continue to work hard for what you want.
As you zoom in and out, it started out as being something that I want to show to the people in the community so that we kind of start to change our ideas of ourselves.
There is a quote, like, I believe in it so much. It says, like, if you want to do something, just believe in yourself, and that's actually what I'm doing.
These 3 impressive teens don't quite fit the stereotype. Sure, they like their selfies, but they're not shallow, not apathetic.
It's a nice building.
Yeah.
They've each faced major adversity head-on, adapted,
1, 2, 3, 4.
now inspire their own communities. Grade 12 student Cardisha Provo loves her community, one of Canada's oldest, a terminus of the Underground Railroad. But outsiders rarely talk about the good.
It's like, oh, I don't want to go there, or I don't want my kids to be in that place.
They think it's dangerous.
Bad, right? They think of danger in that if you walk around here, you might get shot, or, you know, that's kind of things that I've heard people say.
The RCMP is investigating after multiple gunshots were heard last night and this morning in North Preston.
North Preston has known violence. It came to define the place. And that inspired Cardisha to redefine how the area is seen. largely for those who live here, becoming a one-woman video blogger, the voice of North Preston.
Hi, my name is Khadija Provo. I'm from North Preston, and I'm back with another video. Today, we're going to be talking about what it means to be from North Preston. It's an all-Black community, and often in the world, Black people are labeled as being violent, being people who won't amount to things, uneducated. All of those things, dangerous.
So you're pushing back against that?
Yeah, and trying to do that in the most positive way possible. What's your name?
But the top student and student council member is about to leave off to university in Toronto.
You're gonna be in front of the camera. Can everybody see me and hear me?
So she's teaching others how to write their own history.
Good. What can I do to better this? And I kind of wanted to change that narrative and kind of show each other a different perspective and show each other our own perspectives and kind of like shed a positive light on the successes of our people.
Across the country, in Calgary, is another tight-knit community that's inspired one of its own to give back. 3 years ago, Alex McEwen walked into Bowness High School, and then everything changed.
Yeah, on my birthday, December 21st, 2015.
What happened?
Me and a bunch of friends had decided that instead of sitting inside and playing video games all day, we were going to go tobogganing. So we go out to the regular tobogganing hill, and my sled decided to spin out, and I went headfirst at about 30 miles per hour into a light post, fracturing my spine in 4 places and compressing it.
At 15, Alex was paralyzed, and at first it meant loss, an end to rugby, to basketball, to football. No more Army cadets, no more playing the bagpipes.
It was tough in general to see what my life was and see what my life had become. I'll do all the drawing if you'd like.
But Alex decided early on he wouldn't be defined by his injury.
Tell me about who you are today.
I am an avid sportsman still. I play wheelchair basketball and sledge hockey. I go to school full-time, and I plan to go to university next year. And right now I'm just trying to live a normal teenage life and kind of readjust to life after my injury.
You have a job?
Yes, I work at a locally owned, locally operated grocery store called the Bonesian. Find everything all right today? A lot of companies find it difficult to take on someone with a disability. I started looking for a job 3 weeks out of the hospital, and I didn't find one until December of 2017. So it was a long road, and it gave me an opportunity to live a normal life. Have a good day.
Take care.
Not even 3 years after his accident, he's talking and listening to others suddenly adjusting to paralysis.
A lot of the times I talk to them about the bad days, because I don't think people allow themselves to have the bad days enough. No one's saying you have to have an amazing day every single day, but when you have those bad days, you can't let them define your life.
How do you not dwell on it?
Hope, really. It's hope and a choice. I choose to believe that the next day will bring something better than this day has. And I hope that I'm right. So I gotta do 5 and you have to do 3.
Alex has been so helped by his teachers, he plans to become one now. He's off to university in the fall. First, though, comes graduation, and Alex has a carefully planned surprise in store. One he's worked on for months, to walk across the stage.
Alex McEwen.
To walk for the first time since his accident.
I was able to use an advanced machine called an exoskeleton, which is just a metal skeleton that goes along the outside of your body and uses electric power to stand you up and walk you as if there was no spinal cord injury present. It was a huge moment. I've had a few times in my life where I've been pushed down and I've needed to really fight to get myself back up, and I try to make sure that other people know that they're strong enough to do the same thing.
Strong enough to persevere, Sasha Albertalli knows all about staying strong. Her steps into high school in Regina meant walking away from her past and into her future. For Sasha, the extraordinary is found in the everyday. A first period dance class would have been unthinkable for her just a few years ago.
I thank God every day because He gave me like this life. Because for 10 years it was like really tough, and now my life is getting better. It's when I was in Iraq with my brother.
Sasha's life began in Iraq just before the horrendous violence which followed the American invasion.
This picture, I think it was first grade.
There's a whole class picture.
Yeah, it's in Iraq.
A serious death threat led to an abrupt departure, but she couldn't tell anyone.
My best friend, like when we had to leave Iraq to Syria, I didn't tell her like I'm leaving. So, oh my God, I'm gonna cry now.
Why was that hard?
Because when I arrived to Syria, I called her and they told me she died.
Many more friends would be killed in bombings.
This picture is in Syria.
And soon the relative safety of Syria would become just as dangerous as Iraq.
You've been in 2 wars right in the middle of it. Did you ever think things would get better?
I don't know, like I was always hoping for that, but I don't know. Because we're moving a lot, that's a sign it's not getting better, so.
When you got to Canada, what did you think in those first days, those first weeks?
I was telling my parents, like, I wanna live this moment when you like close your eyes and then open it like in different country. So I tried this in Toronto. So when we get to the airport, I close my eyes and then I open it. I was like, we're in Canada now. You gotta do this.
She's excelled, a volunteer helping other new Canadians, helping at the Humane Society, working with sick kids in hospital.
Can I ask you about your marks?
Yeah, they're good.
They're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
My average this year is 91 point something.
What's next?
I will do my degree on nursing. After that, I want to apply for medical school. I want to do something for my future. And that's also because my parents are supporting me all the time, like my whole family. Finally, our family found like a safe place to be in. And
you can breathe.
Yeah.
With Sasha, Kardisha, and Alex, Canada has new young leaders emerging. There you have it, a snapshot of the class of 2018. David Common, CBC News, Calgary.
We were inspired by these stories of ambition and achievement, and over the summer, we'd like to show you more. If you know of a young Canadian who's making a difference where they live or setting out to change the world, drop us an email at thenational@cbc.ca. Let us know why their story inspires you. Canadian marijuana companies are looking to fill all kinds of jobs in the next few months as legalization inches closer. Their pitch to prospective employees next on The National.
He basically said, we just closed a big round of funding, we're growing a team, we're looking for someone with your background, and 2 weeks later I had all my possessions in a car and I was driving across Nebraska.
So recreational marijuana will be legal in Canada in less than 4 months, and that has many licensed producers not just scrambling to ramp up production, but to hire a lot more staff. Thousands of jobs will be up for grabs, but because the industry is so new, finding people to fill those positions could be a challenge. CBC business reporter Jacqueline Hansen looks at how companies are attracting top talent.
That's right, this is one of Canada's.
It's empty now, but soon this room will be packed with marijuana plants.
I can see all of the work that's gone into this around me. It's exciting to get up and running and be so close to a license to start cultivating.
Andrew Milne is in charge of the complex systems that will keep this 30,000 square foot cannabis production plant running smoothly. Milne used to work in Colorado, not in the pot business though. He worked at a company that produced consumer electronics. When he got a call from an old friend asking him to move home to work at a cannabis startup,
I hesitated, to be honest with you. You know, it's a new field, and I had to think a little bit about, actually mostly about leaving a steady job that I liked for a startup. Very cool.
But that hesitation didn't last long.
2 weeks later, I had all my possessions in a car and I was driving across Nebraska.
One of the founders of Cantex recruited Milne.
We enticed him back to Canada, even though he was looking for opportunities in Silicon Valley.
And there's a lot more hiring to do. Cantex has 16 employees at the production facility with plans to double that.
We get inundated with a lot of folks looking for employment in the cannabis industry these days. It's a pretty sexy topic.
Canadian cannabis companies are on a hiring spree, and larger companies need even more workers. Canopy Growth wants to triple its workforce in the next 2 years, from 1,000 to 3,000. Right now, it has 600 jobs to fill, from grower, plant trimmer, and cultivation supervisor to beverage chemist and mobile app developer.
We actively reach out to candidates through different sources and tap people on the shoulder and see if there would be an interest in this sector.
Allison McMahon recruits new employees for cannabis companies. She says the toughest people to find are cultivation experts.
There's only a small pool of people who have worked in a cultivation role, whether that's a cultivation technician or a master cultivator, within the ACMPR, within the medical regulations and the system.
A master grower makes as much as $93,000 a year, according to a survey by McMahon's company. That's already up 14% from last year, as the stigma around pot fades and more people want in.
I think what's really intriguing is how a lot of people, even in Alberta, are looking at cannabis as potentially a more stable opportunity and a place to take their career long term, even compared to something like a more traditional oil and gas sector.
In Ontario, Milne has found the startup experience he went searching for in the U.S.
It's a reverse brain drain here. You think of talent, especially technical people, generally going down to the States to pursue opportunities, but you know, the Canadian cannabis industry is so much more developed than the industry down in the States.
Now part of an industry that likely won't grow this much, this fast, again. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Guelph.
They've changed the filter.
You might be surprised at who some of the new cannabis workers are. These seniors are spending their golden years making bud look beautiful. The group took jobs at the second largest producer of medical cannabis in Alberta. To their co-workers, they've become known as the Old Lady Clippers.
One of the younger staff made a remark about the old ladies. Well, oh my God, it can't possibly be us. So, then he was sorry, and he said, well, that's what they call you when you're not here.
Every week, these 5 seniors arrive at Acreage Farms, zip up their white protective suits over their matching tees, and get to work.
We do the clipping. Like you get some leaves like this and they're all yellow on the thing and you trim them all off.
As for what attracted them to the pot business,
when you're retired, the 4 walls in your house get boring after a while, and this is something to do.
It's exciting and you learn something more every day.
We can all be active and we do feel important. And that means a lot to us seniors.
So what do their families think of their new gig?
My son says, I'm never eating your brownies again.
Those women have found one secret to a happy retirement, but for some LGBTQ Canadians, getting old can force them back into the closet just to stay safe. Our Nick Purdon is working on that story, and here's a preview.
I'm not afraid of dying. What I'm afraid of is the time from now until the time that I do die. Going into a senior's home,
Do you worry that people might treat you differently because you're gay?
I do.
This one nurse came in and said to me, look at you, you're a mess. It's bad enough that you're one of those, and now I have to come and clean you up. And for the whole time she was cleaning me, she kept making homophobic remarks.
I had some friends, and one of the things they asked me was that, could you stand in the doorway? If a personal service worker or a nurse would go by, signal us, because we don't want to be seen holding hands or embracing.
Hoping for a little national earlier in the day, The National today is ready for your inbox each afternoon, going deep on some of the notable stories of the day. Today was demonstrations on the streets of Tehran, protests against rising prices and a crumbling economy. You can subscribe to our newsletter, cbcnews.ca/The National. On The National tonight, following allegations of sexual misconduct, popular winemaker Norman Hardy has been stripped of his Winemaker of the Year award. In a statement, the Ontario Wine Award said that while it respects Hardy's abilities as a winemaker, it cannot condone or ignore his self-admitted behavior. Hardy apologized last week but denied some of the allegations. It is Cristiano Ronaldo last night pleading with Iranian soccer fans to be quiet. They were partying outside the superstar's hotel room hours before Iran played Portugal in the World Cup. No telling whether the interrupted sleep had an impact on Ronaldo, but he did miss a penalty kick. Iran tied the game at 1, but unlike Portugal, won't be moving on to the second round of the World Cup. An Ottawa Music Festival is facing an unusual yet tiny problem. A protected bird, the killdeer, is nesting where the main stage is supposed to be set up. The nest with 4 eggs has been cordoned off and a security guard is keeping watch. Blues Fest organizers are awaiting approval from Environment Canada to relocate the nest, but they don't have much time. The festival begins next week. There is a chance your last Christmas tree may have come from Nova Scotia, but your next one probably won't. Spring frost decimated many crops in that province, trees included. The CBC's Kayla Hounsell checks out the damage.
That's one of my worst affected areas.
Marty Murphy welcomes today's rain. His tree lot should be a lush green by now, but it's dotted by that reddish brown after frost damaged many of the branches.
That area there, about 75% or so of those trees will not be marketable this year. Some people have tree lots that 90% or 100% of their trees look that red.
Plucking off those dead clusters will save some this year. Others, he says, will still be struggling years from now.
This will set this back several years.
And he's not alone. There is widespread damage to balsam fir trees across the province after temperatures plummeted to -6 in early June.
This isn't a frost, this is a freeze.
These are evergreens, of course, but in June, they're not prepared for the cold.
In the fall, the tree produces alcohol, and that goes into the cell structure, and the alcohol keeps the cell structure from freezing in the winter, so it acts as an antifreeze, really.
According to some estimates, the industry will take a $15 million hit this year, plus the trickle-down effect.
There's going to be a lot less money spent in rural Nova Scotia. A lot less money.
Keddy is pushing the federal and provincial governments to launch an assistance program. He says 80 growers showed up to an information session he organized.
It's pretty disheartening, and everyone's looking for answers as how do we move forward?
He says he doesn't think Canadians will see the price of Christmas trees increase this year because the prices have already been established. Meanwhile, farmers assess the damage.
Nothing like this has ever happened before that most people know of, and so it will take time to see how it plays out.
A full recovery could be years away. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, New Ross, Nova Scotia.
And this is a big industry we're talking about. Canada exported more than $43 million worth of Christmas trees in 2016. Nova Scotia exports a lot of those, the second most in the country. But Quebec is Canada's undisputed champion. More than half of exported Canadian trees come from Quebec, and they're sent all over the world, including Australia, Thailand, and the UAE. An Ontario restaurant has been receiving a lot of attention online. Over the weekend, the Old Red Hen's Facebook page was flooded with negative comments and reviews. And here's the problem: the anger wasn't meant for them. The comments were from Sarah Sanders supporters. They took to social media after the Trump press secretary was asked to leave the Red Hen in Virginia. We spoke to the owner of the Old Red Hen about the mix-up. That's our moment of the day.
I said, I'm sorry, you have the wrong restaurant. We're in Collingwood, Ontario, Canada. So someone had got a hold of my link for some reason, linked it out, and I was getting all this hate Facebook. They said the place was dirty and it was all, people shouldn't go there. People say I ate there, got sick, and I Googled them and they're in the States. I'm going to contact the Facebook and TripAdvisor once this calmed down to find out what can be done. I told it's very difficult to remove that situation. We've got all positive feedback from our area, and I have a great support system here, so I'm starting to calm down a bit about it, so it is what it is.
So not exactly a tourist destination for angry Republicans in the United States, but as often is the case with these stories, you get angry, and in this case, misguided comments on Facebook, but apparently there have been sort of reactions to that, people apologizing to the Old Red Hen for all the mix-up, including some Americans. And you won't be surprised to hear that a bunch of other restaurants around the world, we haven't been able to verify this, but we're seeing reports that if they have Red Hen, Old Red Hen in their name, they too are facing the wrath of angry Sanders supporters. That is The National for June 25th. Thanks for watching. Good night.